Hi everyone, we're here with Leslie Fine, who is the Chief Scientist at Crowdcast. Leslie, hi, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about Crowdcast and what you're doing here at Enterprise 2.0?
Sure. So Crowdcast is a collective intelligence company that helps internal teams leverage the wisdom that sits in them to keep primarily their projects on track and really measure and mitigate the risks that they might have while they can still do something about it.
Terrific. So we've talked a lot at Research Access about crowdsourcing technology in general, but it looks like Crowdcast is really taking that concept and marrying it with business process and bringing crowdsourcing internally to business process and business applications. Did I kind of get the concept right?
Exactly. I mean, we're taking the idea that the people in your organization know lots of information and really trying to put that into your cadence so that when you're tracking a project along its process, you understand when you're really going to deliver, what the real obstacles are going to be, what you can really do about it, and trying to layer that on top of your official plan of record, your Gantt chart, your Excel risk register, so you really understand what's happening.
Sure, to take those pockets of information that employees have in their mind but haven't been surfaced into the larger consciousness of the company.
And the fact that everyone's talking about it in the cafeteria and it's not getting to the PMO's desk is a real issue. And so if we can make sure that these little pockets of information are all getting aggregated up in an actionable way that really gives you a quantitative perspective of what's happening, not only on what's going to happen, but what you can do about it, which is something where a lot of collective intelligence applications have fallen short, is what do we do now to bring things back on track and to do something about it before it's too late.
Terrific. We've got a demo machine set up here. Would you give us a quick tour of Crowdcast?
Sure. So this is your basic front screen. I'm logged in right now as an admin, so I have a few more options than I might otherwise. But basically people come in and they create a profile. Everyone on the same day has the same amount of cash or points, and you can think of this as your reputation in the system. And there's a menu of questions. Now these are the questions I have access to. Different people on different projects may have different levels of access. And I can look through and look for questions where I might have information. Unlike other survey-like tools, we're not asking you to give us information on everything, just where you have the most to contribute and therefore also the most to gain in terms of reputation. So let's imagine I'm working on this software development project and I have some information about the alpha milestone. I just went and saw a demo and I think there's a lot of work to still be done. So I click into the system and the first thing I can see is comments have been left in the past. So what the person bet, when they did so, and what they said. Notice that nowhere in here does it say the employee's name. So we keep the bet level information completely anonymous, that people really feel safe in giving information, and the information that your frontline dev guy has is just as valuable as the senior VP, and we really want to treat them equally until one of them turns out to be more knowledgeable than the other.
Right.
So I can also see over here on the right the current Crowdcast, which is represented as a distribution of possible outcomes. So right now, the crowd thinks that the project will be delivered sometime in January. And I can go in here. I think it's actually going to be more like February. So I have this calendar picker. And I can say, I think it's going to be the front half of February. And the system shows you where that falls compared to your colleagues and gives you a payoff. And that payoff is related to how likely it is to happen. So if you choose something very unlikely and you turn out to be right, you're going to be rewarded very richly. And so that we really encourage people to give us rare and relevant information that's accurate. And I mentioned my budget earlier. If I'm really confident and I've been doing well in the past, I can up this. And that will change the amount I get paid, but also on the back end it changes the weight that I have in the Crowdcast as it moves forward.
How strongly you believe what you're predicting?
How strongly I believe what I'm predicting, combined with how accurate I've been in the past, because that gives me the size of my mouthpiece.
Right.
So when I'm comfortable with that, I place a bet. And now it asks me why I bet this way, and I can say just saw the testing software. We need a rebuild on the, can't type, front end. And when I add that comment, and that question can be anything, what can we do about the project, what are the key risks, you can see that that appears down here immediately. Once the true answer is known, we reward people with these payoffs, And we keep a leaderboard to keep track of that. We use prizes and incentives. One of the interesting things on the leaderboard is that it doesn't only track how I'm doing, but also how my part of the organization is doing. So you can see that marketing recently hasn't been doing so well, but generally they're on the top of the heap. And likewise, I can look at regions, really anything that's part of your internal demographics is there. Now, the executive that has sort of control over the system has a little bit of a different view. He also has this dashboard where you can see for all of his questions, the current Crowdcast, how it's been moving, how likely I am to hit any predefined targets, and how active these have been. So let's take that same question around the alpha milestone. My goal had been January 1st, and you can see that it slipped even more since I placed my bet. So I click in here, and I get a similar view to the users, but with a little more richness. I can see the odds of hitting my target. I can see a group-by-group breakdown. You can see that marketing's kind of all over the shop, sales is a little pessimistic, R&D is sure we're in trouble. And so that gives us some interesting informational dynamics in the company that you can dig into. And then you can also look at the comments, sort it by how popular the comment's been versus how recent, and of course download it to muck around in Excel or any place else that you'd like.
Terrific. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.